Welcome back to Simply Green Radio here on News Radio 1180 WHAM. Simply Green Radio, Ask the Experts, brought to you by Simply Green Energy and Mr. Ruder Plumbing. Pleasure to have in studio Maurice Aubrey, Pete Maurice, Brent Hartman, and also Chuck Strand. We want to try and get to as many phone calls as we can before we run out of time. So let's welcome in Chris. Chris, welcome to Simply Green Radio.
Hey, thank you very much. Quick question. You may have covered it. I don't know if I tuned in a little bit late, but I was curious about the pond installations and what that entails.
Well, it's a nice setup. If you have a deep enough pond and enough area in the pond, again, we have to go back to the load of your house, the heat loss, to determine how many feet of tubing it would require to adequately heat your home, and then see what size your pond is and how deep it is, and then you simply can sink the piping into the bottom of the pond, and then there will be some excavation up to the house to get the main tubes that would feed the water in and out of the pond loops back to your furnace, back to your heat pump.
Can't Mo save them some digging with?
Can't you save the
trenchless with the trenchless, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's ways to do that without digging.
There's trenchless also.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
have a nice expensive landscaping, you don't want to mar up, you can do it that way.
Yeah.
Does the piping stay in the water, or does it go below the pond, depending on how deep it is?
It gets sunk to the bottom.
It's right to the bottom of the pond in the water. But your pond, there are requirements for the size of the pond, depending on the size of the or the length of the tubing required for your home.
It's kind of fair to say that the general rule of thumb, and again, as Chuck says, you have to come out and take a look at it, but kind of the golden rule there is that the footprint of the house has to be able to fit within the pond itself. If you could, pick up the house and move it, get a visual that way. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Well, what if it's a shared pond? What if it's like you just can't run it across everybody else's area in the pond, right? You got to stay within the area.
Pete's always got to come up with these legal terms.
I was going to ask the same. But does the pond technically have to be yours?
Well, it might be a good idea. It depends on the situations.
Yeah, that's more of a legal question.
It has to be your property, doesn't it?
I would think
I was
it
wondering
has to be
because
property.
you know how sometimes you see in a developed community there might be a big body of water kind of in the center of the community.
Right.
Maybe you get a couple of houses that could run the same type of heating and cooling systems from that common water area.
That's right.
It would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah, if the association put it in and you guys could all tap into it, then it'd be a shared benefit and expense.
Sure.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the phone call. We don't mean to cut you off, but we do want to get to as many phone calls as we can here before the show is over. Let's welcome in Doug. Doug, welcome to Simply Green Radio here on Ask the Experts.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you?
Great,
Hi,
Doug.
good.
How are you?
Good. I'm a person that just put in a geothermal system, and I just want to call in and give the positives from the customer's point of view.
Great.
We put it in last September. We built a 2,700 square foot house, which is about 900 feet bigger than the house we had before. And first off, I totally eliminated my gas bill.
Nice.
And secondly, my electric is only about $20 more a month than what I was paying before.
Well, that's what we want to hear, Doug.
Congratulations, you made the right decision there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the heat, the house is constantly, it stays at a constant temperature. You don't have to worry about turning it down at night and warming it back up in the morning. It was a win-win situation. And, of course, it was a new build, so we just factored it right in with the cost of the house.
Doug, I've got a question for you. Approximately how much more did it cost to you to put the geothermal versus a conventional system?
Well, by the time you figure in the $8,000 I got back on my taxes, about $4,000 more than the conventional.
So it was well worth the investment.
Oh, Lord. It was for a new build, I think it's the only way to go.
Absolutely.
Doug, great phone call, Doug. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thanks,
Have a good
Doug.
night, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I was about to say that frees up another line now, but unfortunately I don't think we're going to have enough time to take another call. But that's a nice way to end the program, though, on a call like that. Certainly showing you the benefits of how this works.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about,
And I want to remind our listeners, if you want to learn more about the geothermal application and installation and ask any questions, you can contact us at mysimplygreenenergy.com, and there's a geothermal page right there and a contact page as well.
And Brennan, while you still have the microphone there, talk to us about our guest coming up next week, John Ballone.
Oh, John Ballone. He's the president of Flower City Management, and he has done a retrofit geothermal system in a commercial application right here in Rochester, New York. He's going to come in and talk to us about how it's working for him, also the government tax incentives and financing and everything else that goes along with that system.
Well, you mentioned his building, and I think Pete wanted to bust your chops a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I can
I
tell
mean,
you.
you keep talking about this building.
This
Which building are
building.
we talking about?
Well, it's one not far from our studio here, Pete. In fact, it's the Medical Arts Building.
Oh, that's a famous building,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And that's on the corner of Alexander.
Alexander and Park, I believe.
That's a substantial
Yes.
building to heat up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's incredible, you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you can do that in a building like that, I think you can do it just about anywhere.
Music's going to start playing in my ear here, in our ears here, right now. And that means we're out of time. That means we've got a minute left. So I want to thank Maurice Aubry, Mo, Pete Marisi, True Story Pete, Brenna Hartman, and also Chuck Strang. Again, a pleasure to have you all here in studio. We look forward to our show next week. Again, folks, anything that you want to talk, or rather, we discussed tonight, you'd like to learn more about mysimplygreenenergy.com. Again, that website, mysimplygreenenergy.com. And also, Brenna, I think you said people can catch us on Facebook, and they can learn more.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. See you next week.
Hour number 2 of Ask the Experts coming up next here on Wham! And we'll be right back in, right after the top of the hour news, and then we'll be here for another hour to bring you home. And do we have a Wham! Wine Show coming up as well this week? Okay, Wham! Wine Show coming up at 9 o'clock. And we will be back with hour number 2 of Ask the Experts here on News Radio 1180 WHAM.